Let's get started with our first news. Michael Bisping recently shared his genuine excitement and in-depth thoughts ahead of the highly anticipated trilogy bout between Dustin Poirier and Max Holloway in a video on his YouTube channel. As a former champion and analyst, Bisping has a unique perspective on the stakes and drama surrounding this fight. He didn't hold back when describing what fans should expect from two of the most respected and dangerous strikers in the UFC today. He said, "When you look at them both, they're both great strikers. I don't think we're gonna see any wrestling in this. They're both going toe-to-toe. They're going to throw down." He emphasized that the matchup is pure old-school violence in the best way, with both fighters known for standing their ground and trading heavy shots. According to Bisping, this is the kind of fight that can only be described as absolutely sensational. He told viewers that they should prepare for something tremendous, a true showcase of heart, toughness, and elite-level striking. It's not just any fight, it's an emotional finale for Dustin Poirier, who announced this will be his final time competing inside the Octagon. That fact alone adds enormous weight to the matchup. It's not just a trilogy, it's a farewell. Bisping explained that for Poirier, it's a chance to go out on his own terms, in front of fans who have supported him for years. But Bisping admitted he's not sure if Dustin will get the fairy tale ending. "I don't know if he's going to be the winner," he said. "Listen, never doubt Dustin Poirier, but never doubt Max Holloway." He then got very real about the risks for Holloway, who was coming off a brutal knockout loss to Ilia Topuria. Yes, Max Holloway was just knocked out, Bisping reminded viewers. That could present some problems for him. That could have weakened the chin. Bisping explained that sometimes fighters get cracked like that and they're never the same again. One punch can change a career forever. It's a real question mark hanging over Max going into this fight. But he also offered a different possibility. He said that loss might have lit to fire under Holloway. That devastating defeat could fuel him to make a statement. Bisping imagined Holloway saying to himself, "You know what? I'm gonna show the people. I'm coming to Louisiana to whoop some." Bisping closed by admitting, "Honestly, at this point, I don't know which way it goes." He respected both men too much to confidently pick a winner, knowing how much is on the line for both their legacies. In the end, he simply told fans to expect fireworks, two warriors going to battle, giving everything with no guarantees except one. It's going to be must-watch MMA. Moving on to the second news. Tony Ferguson recently opened up about a fascinating story from his college wrestling days that has MMA fans talking. On a podcast appearance, he shared that he actually wrestled Jon Jones in college and lost by just 1 point. This wasn't some small, unremarkable match either. It was a real competitive, high-stakes clash between two athletes who would go on to become some of the most recognizable names in MMA. Tony explained that the match happened under unusual circumstances. Their regular 184-pounder got injured before the meet. That left his team in a tough spot with no one to fill that weight class. Even though Tony normally competed at 165 pounds and had even won nationals at that weight, he didn't hesitate. He decided to bump up not one, but 2 weight classes to make sure his team wasn't left hanging. That meant he was weighing in at around 175 pounds, going up against guys who were cutting from 200 to 185. These weren't just bigger guys, they were much stronger and cutting serious weight to get to that class. It was a huge challenge, one that most athletes wouldn't even consider taking. But that's classic Tony Ferguson, always game, always ready to fight anyone, anytime. On the podcast, he recounted the details with pride. "I wrestled Jon Jones in college. I lost by 1 point," he said. When the host asked if he really meant Jon Jones, the future UFC champion, the man many consider the greatest of all time, Tony confirmed without hesitation, "Yeah, I did. I lost by 1 point. I bumped up 2 weight classes." He added more context, explaining just how outmatched he was in terms of size. "Our 184-pounder got hurt," Tony said. "I had won nationals at 165, but I jumped up 2 weight classes. I was weighing 175, wrestling guys cutting from 200. Despite the massive size difference and the challenge of fighting so far above his normal class, Tony didn't just hold his own, he thrived. He ended up taking 3rd at nationals that year, a testament to his insane work ethic, grit, and talent. And the match against Jon Jones, that one was at the prestigious Cliff Keen National Duels, where the best college wrestlers in the country square off. I lost by 1 point, almost beat him," Tony said, a touch of pride in his voice. That's the kind of story that shows just how much heart and skill he's always brought to combat sports. He also shared a funny moment from their interactions after that. Tony explained that every time they talked, they'd mess around like old rivals. He laughed, recalling how John once grabbed his glasses and teased him, saying, "You won't get these back." Tony shot right back with that classic intensity, saying, "You want to wrestle?" To which John Jones quickly replied, "No, no, no." It's a story that doesn't just entertain, it gives fans a real look at the mentality of two future UFC icons, both supremely competitive, but also able to joke and respect each other as true warriors of the sport. Now let's move on to another news story. Renato Moicano and Dana White have both offered some truly high praise for Ilia Topuria, who is rapidly becoming one of the most talked about names in the entire UFC. Even though Topuria now holds the UFC's lightweight crown, there's still a lot of debate about just how high his ceiling really is and whether he could pull off something historic by winning titles in 3 weight classes. While some fans and analysts remain skeptical about his chances of beating Islam Makhachev at 170 pounds, Renato Moicano isn't among them. In fact, he went out of his way to say he genuinely believes Topuria could make history by adding a welterweight belt to his collection. For months, there's been steady buzz about a possible matchup between Topuria and Makhachev, a true super fight that would pit 2 of the UFC's most skilled and dominant champions against each other. While nothing is official yet, the chatter simply refuses to die down. A lot depends on whether Makhachev can get past Jack Della Maddalena to secure the welterweight title, and of course on whether Topuria holds on to his lightweight belt in the meantime. But if those pieces fall into place, the UFC knows they have an absolutely massive fight on their hands. Recently, Renato Moicano shared his thoughts during the RAL MMA Today podcast. He was clear and unapologetic about his stance. "I think Topuria would beat Islam," he said confidently. "That's my opinion, that's what I think. I hope the UFC lets him move up and fight. That would be amazing. 45 champion, 55 champion, and then 170, that's amazing. If he does that, he will be the greatest of all time." Moicano didn't stop there. He talked about how incredible it is to even have these conversations about a fighter in his prime. "It's a great time to be alive, to see this, and to be a UFC fan," he added. His words captured the sense of excitement and possibility surrounding Topuria's career right now. Of course, it's not as simple as just booking the fight tomorrow. A lot still needs to happen before these two can actually square off in the octagon. Makhachev has to keep winning. Topuria has to keep winning. The timing has to work out, but if and when it does, it's going to be one of the biggest, most anticipated matchups in UFC history. Dana White also weighed in on Topuria's rise during his appearance on the Full Send podcast. When asked if he always saw Topuria becoming a star, the UFC CEO was honest. "Yeah, I mean, you don't know until it plays out," he said. He talked about how impressive it is that Topuria isn't just winning, but doing so with incredible confidence and precision. Calling the round, calling how he's going to do it, and then doing it to the guys he's done it to is unbelievable, Dana explained. He highlighted Topuria's wins over fighters like Holloway and Charles, saying there's no question that the man is on a historic run. But even with all the hype, Dana acknowledged there's one big question left. Do you think he can hang with the elite welterweights and win yet another UFC belt? That's the big question. It's a question the entire MMA world can't wait to see answered. Now moving on to another news story about Dustin Poirier. As he prepares for what may truly be the final fight of his legendary career, Dustin Poirier has opened up about a topic that's weighed on the minds of countless MMA fans for years: the idea of retiring without ever having captured an undisputed UFC championship. Despite building one of the most respected, stellar, and beloved careers in the history of mixed martial arts, that single missing accolade still lingers like an unfinished chapter on his record. In a recent deeply candid interview with the New York Post, Poirier didn't shy away from the question. Instead, he spoke with a level of raw honesty and maturity that only someone who's truly at peace with their journey can offer. He said, "I did everything I could to become undisputed champ. I put myself in position multiple times to get my hand raised and win that belt in the UFC." And it's completely true. Over the years, Dustin has fought and beaten some of the toughest, most dangerous opponents the sport has ever seen. From his wars with Justin Gaethje to his thrilling battles with Conor McGregor, he's headlined massive pay-per-view events and held an interim championship belt. He's always been right there, on the cusp of undisputed glory, proving over and over that he belongs among the elite lightweights on the planet. Yet despite all of those achievements, he admitted, "I just fell short, you know? Just got beat by really good guys, made mistakes, and it is what it is." Those words carry the weight of countless hours in the gym, countless sacrifices made, and a career spent chasing perfection in a sport where one slip, one mistake can change everything in seconds. What truly makes Poirier so admired, however, is his perspective. There's no bitterness in his voice, no hint of regret or resentment. Instead, there's a quiet acceptance, a pride in what he's built, even if it wasn't the perfect storybook ending. He continued, "That's life. That's my story. I wouldn't change anything. I'm proud of the work I put in. I'm proud of the things I've accomplished and the life I've made for me and my family." For Dustin, the undisputed belt would have been the cherry on top of an already remarkable journey. But it's clear he understands that legacy is about far more than gold and leather around your waist. It's about the respect you earn from your peers, the love you get from your fans, and the life you create for those you care about most. And that's why, to so many people watching around the world, Dustin Poirier will always be seen as a champion. He embodies the spirit of the fight, the humility of defeat, and the pride of a man who gave it everything he had. Whether or not he ever held that undisputed title, his legacy is already secure, and his story will continue to inspire generations of fighters and fans alike. Next up, let's talk about Paulo Costa. The Brazilian powerhouse has made it absolutely clear that he is planning to call out Khamzat Chimaev after his fight at UFC 318. Heading into this crucial event, Costa is ranked 13th in the middleweight division, but make no mistake, he's determined to climb that middleweight ladder as fast as possible. He knows the window for title contention can close quickly in this sport, and he's not looking to waste any time. Ahead of his highly anticipated bout with Roman Kopylov, Costa has left no room for doubt about what comes next if he secures the win. He's been very vocal, saying that the moment his hand is raised, he's calling out Chimaev immediately. Speaking with Ariel Helwani on Monday's show, Costa didn't mince words about his intentions or his mindset going into this fight. He also weighed in on the upcoming DDP versus Chimaev bout, acknowledging he doesn't know for sure who will win there. But what he does know is who he wants next, regardless of the outcome. He said with trademark intensity, "This son of a, I want to fight this guy. Win or lose, I want to fight Chimaev. It has to happen. I'm focused on Chimaev." Those aren't the words of someone hedging bets or playing politics. That's a direct challenge, plain and simple. But Costa didn't stop there. He went even further to underline his determination. He continued, "I will call his name after this fight. If God gives me this victory, I will call his name. I'm going to call this son of a for a fight. He needs to fight me. I need to fight him." He then shared some real backstory about why this call out is personal. Costa explained, he's been trying to fight Chimaev for a long time, dating back to their notorious beef inside the UFC PI. According to Costa, Chimaev has been avoiding that matchup for years. He always says no, Costa claimed. UFC has tried to put this match together for a long time. Like 2 years ago, they always said, okay, Chimaev says no, he doesn't want to fight you. He wants to fight anybody at 185, but he doesn't want to fight you. Adding even more fuel to the fire, Costa recalled that after one of those negotiations fell through, and after he himself had elbow surgery, Chimaev didn't keep the trash talk in the cage. Instead, Costa said Chimaev sent a message to his girlfriend Tamara, behaving in a way Costa described as childish and disrespectful. He acted like a woman, Costa said, his voice full of frustration. He said some bad things like, "I'm gonna be your husband and do bad things," but he said it to her, not me. Given all that history, it's obvious Costa isn't bluffing about this call-out. He's not backing down or changing his mind anytime soon. For Costa, this isn't just another fight, it's personal, it's emotional, and it's the showdown he's determined to make happen, no matter what it takes. Finally, let's talk about the massive news that Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev is almost done for 2026. No, we're not talking about the infamous Conor McGregor pick today. Nobody wants to hear that. Let's get into some real news that has the entire MMA world buzzing. Right now, the MMA community is in rare agreement about something. This fight is looking almost guaranteed to happen in 2026. And it's not just the usual rumors or fan wish lists either. Even Dana White, who is famously tight-lipped when it comes to future matchmaking, went public about it. He said that if Islam beats Jack Della Maddalena, the Topuria super fight could be set up immediately. That's as close to an official confirmation as you're going to get this early. Meanwhile, the welterweight title picture is getting a bit weird and complicated. Both Kamaru Usman and Shavkat Rakhmonov are currently sitting on the sidelines, waiting for their title shots and feeling like they've got it locked in. But in reality, if Islam beats Jack Della, the obvious, money-making, history-defining move is Topuria versus Islam. That's the historic fight everyone wants. Think about it. You'd have a former dominant lightweight champion going up against the current peon for pound king, both trying to make history at 170 pounds. The hype, the stakes, the storyline, it's all perfectly set up. This isn't just a fight, it's a legacy-defining moment for both men. Sure, you can make the case that Shavkat might deserve the shot on paper. He's earned it with his wins and consistency. But let's be real, if Islam wins his next fight and the UFC decides not to make the obvious Topuria super fight, then the next likely scenario is Islam versus Kamaru at 17. That would be huge, but it just doesn't have quite the same blockbuster, history-making feel. Even respected analysts like Big John and Josh Thompson talked about the potential of this matchup in detail. They said, think about it. If you're Dana White, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to see you've got two double champions, and they're both 1 and 2 in the pound-for-pound rankings. You're not going to put them together? Come on. They even speculated about the location. That's what he did with Volk and Islam when they fought the first time. Exactly. Where does that fight take place? I think you put it in Spain. Come on, are you going to tell me you couldn't sell out a soccer stadium with Ilia Topuria against Islam in Spain? I'm not sure. I would imagine it would be pretty damn close. I was just at AEW last night. There were 50 or 60,000 people. So there you go. They even joked about the UFC not typically liking outdoor venues, but said if they're going to hold that rumored White House event, that will have to be outside too. They'll do it. Why not do it there? It's clear that if everything lines up, if Islam keeps winning, if Topuria remains champion, this is going to be one of the biggest fights in UFC history. It's the kind of fight that doesn't just get fans excited, it defines eras. And that wraps up our news for today. Stay tuned for more updates, analysis, and all the latest stories from the world of MMA.